Hey, Ioniq 6 fans! I've got some news for you guys today about the upcoming 2024 Ioniq 6. I know the 2023s just came out here in North America, but the car has been on sale around the planet for a little bit longer, so the factories are about to switch over to 2024 model years, and if you want to find out what's changing or what's not changing, stay tuned. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. I cover all things Ioniq news related, including my Ioniq 5, and of course, the Ioniq 6 that we're about to talk about in today's video. So, the Ioniq 6 went on sale here in North America around the end of March, the beginning of April. That's when people were able to go pick them up off of dealer lots. So it's only been on sale for, a couple months here in the US. It's been on sale around the globe for more like 6-7-ish months. So it is about halfway through its year-long cycle because it went into production about halfway through the model year. So as with most other Hyundais, they announce model year changes in the June timeframe. But this past week, I was able to get my hands on a document from the dealership that does explain changes for the 2024 model year. Unfortunately, the Ioniq 5 change sheet is the only one that hasn't come out yet. Hyundai will announce the changes officially in about 4 to 5 weeks, but the dealers do already know most of the changes across Hyundai's lineup. So let's take a look at the changes for the 2024 Ioniq 6, or the lack of changes for 2024. And I say that because there are 0 changes to the Ioniq 6 for 2024. They're more or less carrying over the 2023 model year into 2024, which makes total sense. The car is brand spanking new. So obviously they're not going to change anything only 6 months into production. The only real news that we get from this document is that the 2024 model year of the Ioniq 6 is going to go in production on July 1st. So it does take about 30 to 45 days for cars to get to the US from Asia. So I would expect about August to mid-August before the 2024 Ioniq 6s start hitting dealer lots. It does also appear that the Hyundai Ioniq 6 standard range with the smaller battery pack is now available in the US. There is only one within 300 miles of my location, so they're definitely few and far between, but they are starting to hit dealer lots if that's something that you are interested in. Now, I haven't spent a whole lot of time with the Ioniq 6, so I don't really have a firm grasp of what I would like to see changed in it for the next model year, but the one thing I do think that they should have considered changing for 2024 would be to give the SEL trim the 18-inch wheels instead of the big 20-inch wheels, because going from those 18s to those 20s greatly reduces your range. And I think people buying the Ioniq 6 are really interested in the big range numbers, like the SE rear-wheel drive has 361 miles. I just really think they may have misjudged the clientele that are going to be buying the Ioniq 6. And I've already seen many people that have gotten SEL or limited trims downsizing to 18-inch wheels because they want those big range figures. So I think Hyundai kind of messed up with the way they package these cars. I really think they should have given the 18 inches on the SEL trim as well. And hell, maybe even given the option to limited trim owners. Not everybody wants big fancy wheels. One, the tires cost a lot more than smaller wheel tires. And two, they are going to be a lot more likely to get curb rash if you do accidentally bump into a curb. And that's because the rim is just so much closer to the ground. There's a lot less sidewall of that tire to potentially absorb some of that impact with a curb. So anyway, guys, just a short video today. No changes for 2024. Just wanted to get that news out to you guys in case you are shopping for an Ioniq 6 and you did want to see what was going to change. Now, if you are in the market, just go out and buy one. Now, this is just changes. Pricing is not announced yet. I'm really interested to see what they're going to price the 2024s at, because if you haven't already heard, Tesla just announced that all Model 3s now in the US are qualifying for the $7,500 federal tax credit. So add on state incentives, it more or less brings the cost of a standard range rear-wheel drive Model 3 to like $27,000. The Ioniq 6 starts at around $42,000, and it doesn't qualify for any federal tax credit. So this car in like the SEL or limited trim is potentially $20,000 or more expensive than a Model 3 standard range. And I think this is going to really hurt Ioniq 6 sales, at least in the short term, unless they readjust their pricing structure, because they're just not going to be able to compete with these prices. It's just absolutely insane how low Tesla is able to sell the Model 3 at these days. And obviously the same thing goes for the Ioniq 5 as well. A Tesla Model Y can now be had for $47,000 before the $7,500 tax credit, before state incentives. So I could potentially get a Model Y here for about $37,000. So also a big difference in price with the Ioniq 5 lineup as well. And I know that they are passing along a lot of incentives. The SE and the SEL now qualify for $5,000 in cash rebates through the dealerships. You can do a lease buyout, which you can get the full $7,500 tax credit, but after all the lease fees, it works out to be more like $6,000. So whether you do the lease buyout or if you take the cash on the hood incentives from the dealerships, they're still relatively close, about $1,000 difference after all is said and done. So obviously you can get the cars cheaper if you want to. There's just some hoops you have to jump through if you want to do it through a lease buyout. And Hyundai's European division has said they're not going to chase Tesla's price cuts, but I don't see how they're going to be able to do that. I mean, with these incentives, they are more or less marking down the cars, but I think it would be better in the long term for them to just make a straight MSRP change to the lineup. And they might have to start selling the cars at a loss. GM has been doing that for years. They lose money on every single Chevy Bolt they have ever sold. Hyundai might have to do it too, just to gain market share, in my opinion. I can't drive more than 5 minutes away from my home without seeing at least 1 or 2 or 3 Teslas. They are just starting to proliferate like crazy, especially here in the northeast of the United States. So Tesla's definitely starting to take over, and Hyundai's going to have to adjust. So anyway, guys, if you liked today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.